So one of the things that I get asked about most frequently is about techniques, about manifestation techniques. And I get all sorts of questions from all different kinds of people asking the kind of questions that imply that there's not that understanding yet of how the law works and how conscious manifestation works. And this is a really important thing to talk about today, because if you, like most people, like myself once was, are one of those that is looking for the holy grail technique, you're looking for ways in which you can up your manifestation game and try to make something happen faster, you definitely want to stick around, because this video is for you. I get asked all sorts of questions like, is it okay if my sat scene isn't perfect? Is it okay if I'm affirming using different words? How many times a day should I affirm? Should it be repetitive, or should I have lots of different affirmations? These types of questions that we all tend to ask at some point or another in our journey. So I'm going to break down everything that you need to know and understand today about techniques. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about techniques. Also, hi, I'm Missy Renee. On this channel, we talk all things manifestation and the law of assumption. So if that is a topic that you are interested in learning more about, then definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications, and if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you are interested in any of my resources, such as my coaching programs, my workshops, and courses, I'll have links to all of that down in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. So there are likely at this point billions of videos and TikToks and posts and comments that talk about techniques. So this is naturally a topic that comes up all the time. And there's a lot that I could dive into, but I'm going to try to get straight to the point and answer the most important questions that you have about techniques. What is the best technique to use? How many times a day should we use it? What are the best times of day to use it? And all of that. And the short answer is, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. None of the questions about the logistics of techniques ultimately matter when it comes to your ability to manifest. And to further answer this question, let's take a step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture of what manifestation actually is. So the first and biggest understanding that we need to have about conscious manifestation is that creation is already finished. And what this means is that all realities, past, present, and future, all outcomes, all scenarios, every version of every person already exists, and it all exists in this present moment, right now. Creation is finished means that time is not linear. It means that whatever outcome is going to happen is already in existence right now. It is a state of consciousness waiting for occupation. And if we do not occupy it, that state remains as a hypothetical. It remains as a possibility. There are also infinite versions of ourselves. There's the version of me sitting here right now in front of the camera talking to you fine people. There's a version of me that is chilling on a beach somewhere. There's a version of me that never learned about the law and is floundering about life somewhere. But the point is, all of creation is finished, which means all possible scenarios, all possible outcomes, anything that we can possibly imagine is already a reality that we can have. It is a reality that we can experience, and they all exist in this moment right now. So basically, that means that we are able to relax into the idea that circumstances never matter. No matter what it looks like in the 3D in this moment, the state of consciousness, or the reality that we desire, is also existing right now. We don't even have to create it because it is already done. And to put this in a context that we can understand, let's say, for example, that I need to go to the grocery store. I'm realizing that I don't have certain ingredients to make dinner, and I need to go to the store. In that very moment, I'm at a crossroads, because right now, there is the version of me that goes to the grocery store, and there is also the version of me that stays home and just has a TV dinner and puts it off for tomorrow. Both of those realities exist in this moment, and whatever I decide, whatever I choose, or whatever I'm feeling moved to do is ultimately going to be the reality that I select. And because I have the belief that I should just get it done and out of the way now so I can relax tomorrow, I select the timeline where I go to the store today. So in all moments, all throughout the day, we are selecting which reality we're going to experience next. We're selecting which state of consciousness we are going to occupy next. We're doing this all the time. It's just usually we're doing this on autopilot. Usually we are making these selections without consciously thinking about it or knowing exactly what the repercussions are. The only difference with manifestation is that now we are conscious of the realities that we select. We are aware that if what I desire is to go to the store tonight, that is the reality that I'm going to consciously choose. If, say, you're trying to manifest a specific person, then you are consciously selecting the reality in which you and your person are in a loving, committed relationship. That is the timeline that you are bringing into awareness and thus selecting. So the only thing that we are doing when it comes to conscious manifestation is we are consciously bringing into awareness or into imagination what it would be like if we now had the thing that we desire to experience. What would it be like as the version of me that has my SP? What would it feel like if there were now millions of dollars across my accounts? What does the reality feel like where I have everything that I want? What does that version of Missy Renee think and feel in her day-to-day? What would that version of Missy Renee be doing and saying and thinking throughout her day? If I could tap into that reality in my imagination and go to what that feels like, that is how we select the state. That is how we shift our awareness, how we become to embody the version of us that we desire to be, and thus we are selecting and choosing that timeline to experience that state of consciousness. So basically we have to remember that we're not trying to make something materialize in the 3D. We're not trying to make something appear in the 3D that is not presently there. We're shifting realities. We're literally the ones moving in and out of states of consciousness depending on what we are believing, what we are imagining, what we are bringing into awareness. When we become an imagination, the person that we desire to experience, that is the version of us that we are selecting. That is the timeline that we are selecting to experience, period. That is ultimately how all of this works. That is how manifestation works. We're already doing this all the time. We're just not conscious of it, or we haven't been conscious of it until recent. But we are always selecting among infinite states, infinite possibilities, infinite circumstances that all exist right now. We are just selecting which to choose based on what we are imagining and what we are assuming. If I become in imagination the version of me that has this desire, if I become the version of me in imagination that gets what I want, then that has to happen in the 3D. So having that understanding about how we manifest and about moving between states, where the hell do techniques come in? Techniques are there strictly as a tool. They are just tools to aid us in imagining what we desire. If you are able to, right now, imagine yourself and feel yourself to be the version of you that has your desire, then you can do just that. That alone is more than enough to manifest. In fact, that's what all of us have been doing this whole time. Everything that you've experienced in your life thus far, you haven't gotten it through the means of sats or affirmations. You had an assumption about something and then it happened. You had a feeling that something was going to happen and then it happened. Because again, we're always selecting states. But in the case that you may feel resistance, in the case where there may be a conflict between what you desire and what you believe and assume to be true, that is where techniques can come in and help us. But I need to be abundantly clear that the techniques themselves are not the tools that manifest. Techniques themselves are not the thing that is going to manifest. Whether you do a technique right or wrong is completely irrelevant, because it's whatever you ultimately feel that counts. Techniques are basically a placebo. It is a way to help us possibly suspend any disbelief that we have so that we can better go into imagination and allow ourselves to feel into what it would be like if I were now this person that I desire to be. When you are doing a technique such as SATs, you are envisioning yourself as the person that has your desire. It is a way to help you imagine getting what you want and experiencing that as if you had it now. The same thing goes for any technique. It's just a means to help you and to aid you into feeling into that state, to imagine yourself as somebody who has the thing that you want. The point is to help you start to believe it, because it's once you believe it, it's once you believe that you have it, and once you start to experience it enough in imagination that you start to feel certain that it's done, that is how you shift into that new state, that new dominant state where you are now thinking from the place of the wish fulfilled, where you are now feeling and thinking as though you are now the person that has your desire, which again is how we select. That is how we move from the state that we are currently to ultimately where we want to go. And that is why feeling is the secret. That is why feeling is the secret every time, not the technique. The techniques are just a tool to help you feel it. That is all. And the most important thing that I want you to take away from the video is that it ultimately does not matter how you use the techniques. It does not matter if you say an affirmation once or a million times. It doesn't matter if your sats are not crystal clear. It doesn't matter if you are doing sats in the morning or the evening. None of these logistics, none of these technical instances are things that are going to hurt your manifestation. There is no right or wrong way to do the techniques. There is no right or wrong technique that is going to guarantee your manifestation. This is all going to be different for everyone because everybody has different beliefs. Everybody is at different stages of their journey. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes and preferences. Some people love affirmations. Some people enjoy the hell out of visualizing and doing sats. Some people are morning people and they enjoy imagining in the morning. Some people are night owls and prefer to do it at night. There is no right or wrong way to do a technique. So long as you are enjoying it, so long as it's helping you to feel good, and so long as it is helping you feel into that desire, and so long as it is helping you to really capture that feeling of what it would be like, then you are doing the technique properly. End of story. It could be that standing on your head while drinking a glass of water is what helps you to feel yourself living in the end. Perhaps that is what helps you tap into the feeling of already having your desire. Then so be it. That's what works for you. And I really want to stress this because so many people are getting themselves wrapped up in all of these logistics and technical details. And am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? You will know that you're doing a technique right because it will feel enjoyable, because it'll feel good, because you'll want to do it, because it'll feel fun and satisfying. That is how you know. If it feels like work, if it feels like a chore, if you feel burnt out from doing it, then you are putting way too much effort into it. So relax, take a step back, take some deep breaths, and just try to imagine for the sake of enjoyment. Enjoy feeling what it would be like. Let yourself go there in imagination. Play as though you were a child, and this is something that you absolutely love to do. Make your imagination your sanctuary. That is your escape from the 3D. That is where you get to go and enjoy this new reality and whatever you want to experience because it all exists in imagination. There's only one way to consciously manifest, and that is to imagine yourself as the person that has your desire. But there are a myriad of ways to do so. There are a thousand, millions of different ways that you can go about imagining that for yourself. But do it to feel good. Do what feels enjoyable. Use what resonates. Because again, this should be an enjoyable process. If we're not having a good time with this, let's take a step back and try to play with something different. But when it comes to the techniques, ultimately know that there is no one way to do it right or do it wrong. That is completely subjective and it's going to be different for everybody. So explore yourself, explore you and what you find enjoyable, and it must certainly come to pass. Because the most important thing to remember is that we don't manifest what we want. We manifest who we are. We manifest who we believe ourselves to be. Always. Always have, always will. That is why, in order to change the 3D, there is no one to change but self, because it is all us. In your reality, as the operant power, it is whatever you are believing and assuming to be true. And if those beliefs and assumptions are not what you desire, then use the power of your own wonderful human imagination to go to the state or reality where you have the thing that you want instead. And once you do this, once you get the hang of imagining for the sake of enjoyment, having fun with it, and enjoying the beauty that is your own wonderful human imagination, the more that you do this, the more you will become the master of your fate. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you are interested in any of my resources, such as coaching programs, my workshops and courses, my blog, my social links, I got all good stuff down there in the description box below. So definitely be sure to check it out. Also, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel. Don't forget to check out my Manifestation Fundamentals playlist. Each video is a different topic, but it all pertains in how to manifest the best life ever. So until we meet again, you guys, as always, please take care, be well, and never forget how powerful you truly are. Happy manifesting, guys.